What's up, everybody? Let me get my headset on. How's it going, Rumble? Not that I need my headset. I don't actually have audio. It's more of a comfort thing than anything, really. You have to forgive me for not having a mic, but or not having a webcam, rather. Output capture. Where am I getting output from? I don't actually have audio. It's more of a comfort thing than anything, really. I like that. Let's pause that. There we go. Let's do that. All right, let's see. What's up, Rumble? This will be the very first episode of Vibe Coding. I'm Mr. Kelly, Ariakin, Axiomatic Tech, all the various names. Before you ask, this series is more fun than sorting a rabbit collection, if you know what I mean. So, this should be good. For those joining, Axiomatic Tech, this is where I make technology actually make sense for you, or at least try to. A little bit of humor, let's be honest. Coding can be a little frustrating for anyone being boring and whatnot, but we'll try and keep it not so boring. That'll be the idea. Are my mic levels good? I don't know. Let's see. Let's go over here and let's refresh. See if I even got the Rumble chats and stuff up. Let's see, chat window. It says it's on there. That's good enough, right? It says it's on there. We'll go with that. Main scene. All right. Let's see. Alerts not working. That's fine. I don't need alerts. We don't need any of that right now. We're just going to be teaching you stuff, all right? Let's see. Anybody in the chats yet? Nope, nobody in the chats yet. Do that. All right, so let's check my screen, make sure it's showing, and it is in fact showing. Good stuff. So I'm having to use a virtual machine because I'm already set up on my PC, but I wanted to do a fresh start for you guys. Anybody out there, if you're in the world, do you have any questions or anything real quick before we get started? I would like to, let's see, I do have some links. So there are some links in the description there, or at least there should be. I did save that before starting, but that'll be the software you need. We'll go through and download that. I'll do it with you since this essentially is a fresh computer, quote unquote. But let's go over some stuff. What we'll be doing today. So the deal is, essentially we're living in like this awesome time right now where AI can pretty much help us with anything if you know how to do it. You know, it can help you code, do whatever. I'm mostly talking about Claude Code or Claude in general. Claude just came out with a new update, Sonnet, I believe 4.5, which is better at coding. A little bit more pricey, but almost all the versions of Claude are great for coding. So let's look at this. Oh, hey, Viking has rated the stream. What up? Howdy, Viking. Howdy, everyone. Now I'm looking at my own stream. Let's see. It can get expensive. There's ways to get around that, but what I'm going to teach you today and show you today for most part will be free to set up and start running with. There are ways to get around the paid stuff, and I can tell you how to do that with things like Docker. But to avoid that, we're going to do the simple setup today. Just get everything up and running at first. We can talk about MCPs and complicated things later. But for right now, we're just going to get the software up and running for everybody on this one. Let's see. I'm not going to assume you know anything about coding or AI or any of that. So we're just going to go from the beginning like you know nothing. All right. Before we dive in, though, do want to hear from you. So if are you new from coding? What's your experience? You know, I guess put it in the comments or whatever. Comments, live chat, whatever. You know, have you ever coded anything before? Do you understand anything about coding? Do you know, what have you used AI for? I'm curious what everybody out there is actually using AI for. I mostly use it for software. I'm not going to lie, I use AI for everything. I get it to make grocery lists. I just tell it what I want to eat and have it build a grocery list for me. Um, so I use it for pretty much everything. It can tell you where the things are on the aisles if you tell it what store you're at practically. But let's see. Make sure I have all of my software set. All right, page not found, that's fine. That's up. So we got Claude, Node, Studio, Cursor in case you want it. All right, sweet. Have you guys even tried coding? Anybody else done what was that? If you're old enough, have you done any of the GeoCities HTML programming back in the day? What are the hurdles? You guys you think it's hard? It's really not anymore. It used to be hard. I gave up on coding like several times before AI. I've learned half of multiple languages. Let's see. All right, so I guess the main thing we're gonna need to set up Claude Desktop, right? So if you guys wanted to get everything running, you'll want Claude Desktop. That's probably one of the easiest ways to do this. It gives you the graphic user interface. You can install Claude Code on Windows 11. I'm gonna assume everybody's running Windows. If you're running Linux, I probably don't need to. Vikings out. Let's see. Wish you the best. I have to go clear. So appreciate it, Viking. Have a good one. Yeah, it was fun hanging for a few hours today, watching the stream. I haven't been able to do that because I've been working and all that. So I've finally worked enough ahead that I have days off. All right. So let's see. We're gonna get Claude though. So we're gonna need Claude. That'll be the first thing. And the reason I use Claude Desktop, like I was saying, was it's got the graphic user interface, makes it easy to interact with. It's going to be the easiest way for you to set up all your MCPs and all that. And if you're like me, give it complete control without guardrails. That's why I work in one of these virtual environments, because why can't I just give AI access to everything I have and just tell it to go do something? So let's get Claude Desktop first. So that would be here. And you're going to go to claude.ai/desktop to download that file. No. So /desktop page not found. Oh, well. All right, maybe I got the wrong link. So instead, I'm going to go to whatever search. I guess it's going to be this stupid Google machine. And we're going to do, I want to tell you the right site. What? Oh, son of a biscuit. I see what I did there. It's not desktop. It's download now. So it will be Claude, CLAUDE.ai/download. And that's where you download. So we're going to go ahead and download that. We're going to get it for, I'll be honest though, if you guys have a Mac, Claude is already pre-set up to work with Mac a lot better than it is Windows. There's some extra hoops you occasionally have to jump through with Windows that you don't have to do with Mac. So things like the browser use, where Claude can navigate your browser and all that, that works by default with Mac right now through Claude Desktop. There's some hurdles to jump through to get it to work with Windows later. But I don't use Mac. I despise Apple. Sorry if you're one of the Apple family. I like to be able to control my device. That's one of my things. Let's see, continue with Google. Sure. I love passkeys. It's going to do that to open it up, but essentially we all know how to install software, right? I didn't have to walk you through that. You just click next and next and next and next. And you're going to get a box pops up that looks like this. So I'm I'm just going to skip this right now, but essentially this, it's just letting you know you can press like Alt and space, which I find ironic, to bring open the, Claude chat and talk to your AI instead of Alt space. Skip. Hey, look, we're here. So over here on the right, you can pick your models, right? I know I'm getting off track, but you can pick your models over there. The newer models are going to be more expensive. You'll run out of usage faster. Opus is a pretty good one. They have all these old models. Have all these old models as well that you can pick. Haiku 3.5 is really good for a lot of small tasks. You can get a lot of usage out of this one because it doesn't require that much thinking power. All right, so we've got Claude Desktop set up. I'm going to assume you have it set up. I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of extra time in between. I need like the Jeopardy theme music, I'll end up changing the thing in the description there to, instead of desktop, it is download. See if I can change that on the fly. I doubt it, but we'll give it a shot. Oh, that worked. Okay. Nice. All right, so we've got Claude installed. Let's see. I mean, you guys should be done installing it if you're installing it with me, because typically it takes about 30 seconds. And before you guys, you're hesitant on this, do you need a powerful computer to run this AI? To run AIs locally on your machine and install them, yes, you're going to need a powerful computer. A 5090 to run any big, good AIs that would do anything locally, but we're not going to be running locally. We're going to be reaching out to the servers in the Ethernet. We're going to be gingerly touching tips with wires, people. But if you have Claude now, let's see, launch for the first time, you will need to set up an Anthropic account. You saw me log in with my Google. I just do that because it's easy, and then I can use all of my chats across all of my devices, whether I'm on the phone, whether I'm on my desktop, my laptop, anything really. I'm on my Raspberry Pis, whatever I'm on. Or maybe I'm inside of my Claude Code command line interface. Maybe that's where I am. But I do that one account. But then having that one account allows me to, drop files from any location, because it knows that when I log in with that account, it's connected to my Google Drive and all that, so it can find files, go through my spreadsheets with some of the MCPs that I've made. But the next piece of software, because I'm assuming while you've been listening to my beautiful voice, that you have installed Claude Desktop. One thing that I do recommend, this isn't necessary. I don't know how much this is necessary, but if you are going to be, I've had problems with this. If you're going to be running MCPs and you're going to let Claude do its thing and just say, hey, Claude, start a company doing this, right? And you're just going to let it run for hours, right? You're going to go into, right click on the Claude icon here, which you'd have to restart it to get this to take effect, but that's fine. So we're going to right click, go to properties, compatibility mode. We're going to check run this program as an administrator. We're going to click apply and OK. We just want that to open up where it has access to everything inside of the command line interface when I turn it on. I want it to be able to run any bash commands at all inside my command line interface, because I'm not scared. I mean, this is a virtual environment. That's the only way I'm recommending you guys do this, because I don't think anyone else needs to be me. I'm the opposite of a John Connor. Sarah Connor's like, got to have this kid to stop the AI from taking over the world. And I'm like, hey, AI, what would you like to do today? So that's how I do that. Essentially, I'm giving it, the Linux people don't need to know, but for the Windows people, I essentially gave it root access, because you're going to need to learn some Linux too. All right, the next piece of software we're going to need is Node.js. And a lot of people don't know what that is, but you might be thinking like, what the heck is Node.js? Good question. Basically, it's an engine that lets you run JavaScript. So it allows you to run JavaScript without using web browsers. So things like Claude Code or different programs on your computer will be able to make Node.js calls and run JavaScript without being inside of a web page. So that's what Node.js is. And now we're going to get that, which is nodejs.org. So starting over, nodejs.org. I believe it's /download, but you can click the Get Node.js link. This got me for the longest time. Every time I installed it, I always had problems, and it's all because I didn't read this little section here where they have a pre-built version and you don't have to build it yourself. We're definitely going to get that. We're going to get the MSI file so that Windows will install it natively and I don't have to do anything. I spent hours on I laugh because I spent hours doing this, finding like, well, I've got Docker, so I could just run Docker, and okay, we can do npm, but then like I thought I needed Node for npm calls, and what the hell? And yeah, I spent hours doing that. But now we're going to install Node.js. So I've got it downloaded here. Only takes a couple seconds, not too big. Unless you're, stuck in 2001, and then it might take a little while. So I'm going to give a dramatic pause. Okay, click next. You're just gonna, typical install stuff. You're gonna tell the biggest lie in the world. You accept these terms and you've read them. We're just gonna install it in its default location. We want to make sure, so this is checked by default, right? But we do want to make sure that add to path is on the hard drive. Make sure that's highlighted. That is one of the biggest things. And even though that's selected, we're probably going to have to add it to path anyway. So we're going to do that. We're going to automatically install all the necessary tools like Chocolatey and get that chocolatey love going in the computer. That's delicious. Install. Then we're just going to blast through this real quick. I have one of those fancy 5090s and one of those fancy, spent way too much PCs on type deals, so it installs real fast, so I'm still going to give everybody a minute. But when it does install, you'll get this. And we're just going to, any key to continue, any key to continue. Going to open your PowerShell up like so. It's going to start doing stuff and things. Getting that chocolatey goodness installed. Oh, I forgot to install Python. Oh, hey, it did it for me. That's something else we're going to need. I didn't put that in the list. But you're definitely going to want Python. Definitely. And any of these pieces of software like this and tools, one thing that's not in my notes that I'm going to go ahead and say while I'm here, that whole add to path thing, that's going to be something we need to learn about later, because when you're installing new softwares, sometimes Claude doesn't have access to it because it's not in path. Just because you can run it in path doesn't mean Claude can. That's given me a lot of errors previously. We're still installing that chocolatey goodness. So if it's taken me this long, I know it's taken you guys a little bit, long too. We're going with Python. Then I can put chocolate in there. Yep, keep going. Chocolatey Visual Studio extension. That's something else. Well, while that's going, we can go ahead and navigate, so we're not just wasting time staring at my screen doing nothing, hearing my sexy voice. I don't know why I did that. We're going to download, so this is where it's going to get a little different too. So we're going to need an IDE. So an IDE would be like, imagine Notepad on crack for programming. So Notepad and like, I don't know, what other piece of software? I don't know, it's kind of like the Photoshop. No, it's the DaVinci Resolve of notepads, right? That's what it is. It's kind of like Notepad and DaVinci Resolve got high on methamphetamines and a little bit of cocaine for the love. And then they got together and they just started doing some stuff. And then we have Visual Studio Code, or Cursor if you prefer. That's another IDE. Cursor's a relatively new one. If you're going to be doing a lot of AI coding and such, Cursor's pretty good for that because you can build AI directly into it. Well, not build into it, but you can connect your AI directly to it, code directly through it, manage your projects and all that. So Cursor's good as well. I myself haven't really used Cursor that much other than just playing around a little bit. I haven't tried to develop anything in it, but that's because I haven't read, you know, that biggest lie in the world, the privacy policy and the terms of agreement. I haven't read that. And without reading that and parsing through that to see what they have access to as to what I'm building, I'm not going to use it. But to each their own. Mostly because I'm working on some things that like have to be federally cleared and secured. And I can't have them getting that data. But back to this. So if you're going to download Visual Code, code.visualstudio.com/download. That's it. You know, so there's that link there. You can get that one. And I say it's optional because you can always use Notepad. If the file gets too big, you're going to have a little trouble with Notepad. But, you know, there's things like that. There's that. No, I'm not even going to mention that stupid app with all their political BS. Just, you know, be careful with these software companies and who you're giving your money to. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, we're just going to go with Visual Studio. This is the one you're going to get, okay? What are we doing over here? Are we done yet? No. Visual Studio installer. Are you installing Visual Studio? Yeah. Well, I'm going to install Visual Studio Code because I like this one better. Download. Yeah, that. Sure. I accept this agreement. Mostly, whoa, can't I install it for everybody? Whatever. Register, added as path, register, open with code, created, yeah, sure, all the options. Just give me all the options. Register it as path, always add as path. You never know when you're going to be in the command line interface and you just need to type code or VS code this. That's what path is, by the way. If anyone doesn't know what path is, it's just, you know, when you say you're in the command line and you want to type in like delete and then a file name, right? Well, delete is a program. That's a .exe that you're going to run on a file, right? And so the way you can just type delete instead of going to like C drive /Windows /system32/bin/delete.exe is because that folder has been added to path. So now it knows when you type delete to look for delete.exe in all of those path names. So that's the idea of path. That's what path is. I say that because if you start doing MCPs and running a bunch of software, you're probably going to get path errors and you're going to need to add folders to path, which is an environmental variable in Windows. A lot of this is just going to be for Windows, sorry. This guy over here is being slow and dumb. Didn't find any channel feeds. You know what? We're going to press that button. I don't need it because I did it myself. And I already got chocolatey. All right, so now we've got Claude, we've got Node, we've got Visual Studio Code. Let's see what else. Let's look at, well, yeah, let's go ahead and open Visual Code back up. And look at that beautiful interface. We're only going to be using like maybe, actually, I would say we're going to be using, you know, some percentage of this, but this is mostly just so that you have it. That's what this is for, because you'll need this. This is really good for editing program files later. You can just open a JSON file in here. It'll parse it, align everything correctly, and give it the correct tablature so that it makes it easy to read. Whereas if you load it in Notepad, it's going to look like, oh, a horse mess. That's what it's going to look like, a bunch of horse mess. We're not going to do that. We're going to use an IDE because that's what we're supposed to do. Let's see. So, so we gotta, let's see, I'm gonna open a folder. We're just gonna open, I'm gonna make a new folder on my desktop, and this will be, just for now, called Claude Code. Nope, we're not gonna name it that. We're gonna name it Rabbits and Roses. Can I do that? I can do that. Rabbits and Roses. Look at that. Yeah, we'll leave it as that. That's fine. Nope, we're gonna take that out. And I do the capital letters to separate my words and file names because I'm used to Linux and I don't like underscores. So essentially, I just loaded that into the File Explorer. And so what that's going to do is load this into Visual Code here. Yes, I trust the authors of anything on this desktop. It's like, hey, in case you were going to run code that was here, that'd be bad. Do you trust them? Like, yeah, I guess. New file. Stuff and things. Look, I have my first code file. All right, let me see here. Now, with Visual Code, one thing, where are the extensions here? One thing that's good to have, aha, extensions. There's some nifty extensions that make stuff look good, right? So one thing is going to be prettier. This is a code formatter. This is very, very nice. Very, very nice. It will format your code for you and make everything look, dare I say, prettier. Maybe another thing we might want is live server. Not for now, but maybe for later. Let's see, 5 server. A live server with instant updates, highlights, PHP. It's this one. May want that for later. Not right now, but later. So we got our extensions there. Let's see, what other extensions are good? I think they have a Claude extension. Yeah, they do. They have a Claude Code extension. I'm not going to show you how to set that up and use it yet because I haven't done it, but I'm going to install it. Just so I have it for later and I can play with it and I can show you how later if you need it. But honestly, you probably won't need it. Essentially, you're just going to probably select that over here in your chat models to talk to AI and build. Let's see. So one of the, we're going to do this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to open the command prompt because I guess we're going to go ahead and install Claude Code, right? So now that we've got Node, and if it did add to path, here's how we're going to test that. So if you've got your command prompt open and we've already done the Node install, the Claude install, you've already got Visual Code, which you don't necessarily need yet. We're going to check if Node is here. So we're going to type node -- version. If it spits out a version, you have Node. If it doesn't spit out a version, Node didn't install or Node did not add to path. If Node did not add to path, you'd have to find where it was installed. So you'd look up you know, you'd search your entire computer for Node, see where it installed, but it should have been in program files, Node.js. And so then you'll go to environmental, yeah, there we go. Edit the system environmental variables. We're going to edit the variables. We're going to go down to path. And we're going to edit. And this is what mine is right now. Node did add to path, but it's not actually in here because I can actually get my Node version, but it's not listed in my path variables. So it's probably inside of here or maybe here in the npm. Either way, I'm good. If you weren't good, not edit. We go to path and we edit path. If you weren't good, new path. And you just find that C drive program files, Node.js. You're looking for the folder that node.exe is in, which is probably like the Node.js folder. Here, I'll navigate. How about that? Let's just validate if we follow the installs exactly as I said. This one, yeah, so this would be the folder. So you would copy this folder here. C drive, program files, Node.js, because we have Node, we have npm, we have all these things. And then you make a new line, paste that in there, and save. And that's it. And that's how you add something to path. You just add the folder that the program exists into, put that into your environmental variables under path as a new entry inside of path. And then you would have to, so after that, after I did that, if I saved and added it, I would have to close my command line to reload, and then open my command line again, and then I would have node -- version. And then I have a node version. So we can do npm -- version to make sure you have npm. So I have npm and I have node. Sweet. Now, we're going to get to the gritty. npm -g. Wait, nope, that ain't right. npm -install -g. And so we're going to use npm package manager, node package manager to install -g means globally. So everyone can use it. So that'd be, you know, all users, essentially installing it to the computer itself, not like in your user account to where only you have it. So we're going to npm install -g for globally, and then Claude, CLAUDE -code. Just like so. Notice, new major version of npm is available. Oh, yeah. So first, we're going to do that. Hey. Guess it helps. You know what? I'm just going to... Come on. We're going to copy that code. Paste that code. Install the newer version of npm globally. And then I may have to reset my, you know, thing. npm fund. Don't worry about the npm fund thing. That just... A lot of the npm stuff is donateware. And so when it's like 12 projects are looking for funding, it's not looking for memory on your computer. They are looking for money from your wallet. So let's see. Let's see. npm -- version to make sure it updated. 11.6.1. Cool. Now we're going to go back to that. You know, when you're in this command line interface, or CLI for short, you can just push up and down on the D-pad to go back through previous commands you've entered until you close the window, or session, rather. So we're going to npm install -g for global. We're going to tag it for globally install. Claude Code, CLAUDE -CODE. All right, so looks like that happened. If that worked, let's see. Typically, it actually takes a minute or two. So I'm not sure. Not sure why it didn't do the install. Yeah, Claude's not recognized as a batch command. All right, let's rethink that. Where is my Chrome? Chrome. All right, let's go with a manual install then. Claude Code install. This should take us to the Anthropic website. Claude Docs. Claude. Oh, all right. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, ha 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 ha. Damn it. I was close, guys. I'm doing this from memory, all right? All right, so that's actually npm install-g for globally, and then you have to tell it where that Claude Code program to install is. So it's at anthropic-ai/Claude-code, right? So if you can see on my screen, npm install-g for the global install at anthropic-ai, anthropic-ai/Claude Code. That should get it going. Run, 11 packages are looking for funding, added them. I don't think I can use Claude yet. Claude Code Windows requires git bash. If installed but not in path, set environmental variables to your bash. Oh, yeah, I believe I do have to. I believe I do have to restart the command line interface to get that to work. Oh, no. If installed but not in path, git bash. Requires git bash. I don't have git bash. I didn't know we needed git bash. I've never had git bash. Oh, requires git for Windows. Let's do Claude on native Windows with git bash. Oh. I see. I see. Okay. We're going to take everything we've learned so far. We're going to go a step further. Okay, people? Sorry. We're going to type WSL. Claude Code. I don't know enough about git bash to do that and to explain to you how to install git bash and run Claude Code through git bash. But what I do know and what I always use myself is WSL. We're going to open WSL. Any key to install Windows subsystem for Linux. This prompt will time out in 60 seconds. Yeah, we're going to press any key. I couldn't find it. That's what took me so long. I could not find the any key. I searched my whole keyboard. I just accidentally typed spacebar. That's what it was. So WSL is the Windows subsystem for Linux. Essentially what it does, it allows you to use Linux and Linux type things on your Windows computer while you're using it. So that'll allow me to use a Ubuntu Windows, like Ubuntu Linux terminal on Windows and install Claude and give it access to everything that way. So I've got WSL. So next what I need to do is go to the Microsoft Store. And we're going to look for Ubuntu. If you're familiar with Linux, you can pick your own flavor. But I'm going to do 20.04.6, which is the LTS version. That's the one that's constantly being updated. So we're going to go ahead and install that. That's going to take a little while. Yeah, and then we're going to, go back and do this stuff through the WSL. But the important thing is, let's see. Let's go ahead and open, see if that opens up. Press any key. That spacebar again. Come on, Ubuntu. Installing this may take a few minutes. I'm pretty sure because it requires a feature that isn't installed. WSL. Has no installed distributions by installing. All right, so let's do this. Let's do this, and let's list online distributions. Wrong button. All right, and so wow. We want this one. That's the one. All right. Back to the Windows Store here, see what's going on here. I tried Ubuntu. 200406. Then I click open. Then what happens? Nothing happens. There's an error. There's an error. Okay. All right, so instead we're just going to install this. Install the distro. WSL -- install. Request operation changes will be effective until the system is rebooted. What? Do I really have to? Oh, maybe. All right, so we're going to reboot this machine. Restart. Didn't take long, it's a virtual machine. Boo, boo, doo, doo, boo, boo. Feel free to stay max size. All right, no, just never remind me again. I wish that was an option. All right, so now we're here. Let's just try some stuff real quick. Let's go to this. See if restarting added to path. Nope, we need git bash. Okay, so let's try starting Ubuntu now. WSL failed. I wonder if WSL is failing because I'm in a virtual machine environment. When the reality is, if I'm in a virtual machine environment, I just need to be using you know, the virtual version of Ubuntu. Anyway, WSL. I might have to show everyone how to install WSL later on my desktop. So WSL -- install that distribution. Oh, okay. There we go. Using legacy distribution registration. All right, fine. Please enable virtual machine platform Windows features, and virtualization is enabled in the BIOS. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's WSL is not running correctly inside of they don't they don't want me to inception virtual machines here. That's what's going on. They're like, you can't run a computer inside of a computer inside of a computer inside of a computer. Nay, I say, nay. I have yet to have a technology issue I couldn't get around if I really wanted to, but we're straying off, okay? That's in the weeds. We don't need Claude Code command line interface to do what we're doing here. But we have Claude Code, right? Well, technically we've got Claude Code because we've got Claude. So we're going to start Claude. We did set it to run as administrator earlier, so when you start it, you're going to have to click yes from now on. So let's see here. We're going to maximize this just in case. We're just going to work from Claude desktop today, I guess. Because no, I'm not happy with myself because I didn't anticipate a virtual machine not working inside of a virtual machine, and I should have anticipated that. We're going to try this then. We're going to try git bash. Git bash is a emulation for Windows that proves unit-like environment for integrating with Git and allows users to run Git commands and other Unix commands directly. It was saying git bash, correct? Downloads. Git bash. Where's git bash? Git book getting started installing Git GitHub isn't Git, it's a hosting service. I hate PowerShell questions. Yeah. Git. What is git bash for Windows anyway? Yeah. We're gonna download it. How about just give me a link, right? Like, I'm gonna go back to the command line interface because it at least gave me a link in command line interface. So, Claude. Oh, look. Download when getscm.com. Okay. I think that was this site. Getscm.com. Download. Windows. 64, because that's me. Oh, I did have this on my other PC already. Next. Add Git profile to Windows terminal. Add on, check daily. Configuration files. I don't need a desktop icon for this. Sure. Git, why not? Wait, what? The Vim editor. Yeah, it's I don't really need that, but we're gonna do it. Let Git decide. Use Git from Git bash only, Git from the command line, and also from third-party software. Yes. Use bundled, OpenSSH, native Windows secure channel library. Yep. Check out Windows style, commit Unix style line, and then check out as is, commit Unix style. Whatever. Console what? Use min tty. Git bash will use as a terminal emulator, which supports a resizable window. Yeah, we're just going to use the default. Fast forward or merge. These are default things for GitHub, I believe. Sure. I did not know there would be this many questions. Enable file system caching. That's fine. That'll be faster. All right. Now we're going to install this git bash thing because I want to try and make this easy for you. without having to dive into WSL and running a Linux subsystem on your computer and sharing files between the two. That could be annoying. So now that we have git bash, close that out, restart the command line, see if it's in path. Claude. It worked. That was all we were missing, guys. That was all we were missing. Just install that git bash, and apparently it works with Windows without doing the Linux subsystem. Let's see. I like dark mode. I'm fine with that. That's what I'm used to. So when you're going through, select what mode you want with Claude Code, right? So, you know, I selected that, but that's just inside this command line interface. It's going to change how it appears in here, but, you know, we're going to use Visual Coding Studio when we're coding directly. There's also things you can do, like give Claude access to files and just have it code directly on your computer without you even viewing it. Technically, vibe coding is hands-off. By definition, that's the I want to code and I don't want to look at code. You just tell it what to do, it does it, then you try it, and if it sucks, you delete it and start again. I do a little bit more complicated than that, so I'll vibe code and I'll let it do its thing, but I'm going to watch everything it's doing, and I'm going to get it to explain everything it's doing to me when I code. That's the beauty of it. You want to learn something? AI can teach you. You can have it design an entire course. Let's see. So this is where you're going to select your login method. I have a Claude account, so I'll just do that. Go here, authorize Claude to log in as me for Claude Code. Now I can close this window. And I guess I can close that window. All right, login successful. Enter. Yay! It can make mistakes. I know. All right, so one of the things you're going to get to, if you're following along with me and doing this in the command line interface right now, is you're going to need to give it access to a folder, right? Do you trust it to make changes inside that folder? Hey, what's up, Colt? What's going on, buddy? I just happened to look over and saw the chat. The chatty chat. But yep, so we're gonna give AI access to a folder, which means it'll be able to make changes and edit things and delete things. And if you're crazy like me, what are you coding? Well, so this is just the beginning video. This is just how to get your computer set up for it so that you can make whatever you want, bud. That's what this video is all about. Let's see. I'm the brave guy. I'm that guy that everyone warns you about. Like I said, I am the opposite of a John Connor. I will build Skynet. Just flat out, I will build Skynet as a statement. I'm the opposite of John Connor. So you may not want to give it access to that particular folder, whatever particular folder. A lot of people recommend just making a folder that can work out of, but since I'm inside of a virtual machine, I'm just going to give it access to this folder because there's nothing in that folder it can actually mess with. And you can even take it a step further and you can tell it to create a folder inside of a folder. Oh, nice. Look at you. That's good, man. Nope, that's what I do. If I sit down and bored not playing a game or something, I'll just start working on programs and see what I can do. I've got a couple in the works that are potentially really lucrative if I can pull them off, because no one's doing it yet. But let's see. Now we've got the Claude Code up and running. Welcome back, John. I'm back. We're using 4.5 Sonnet, which is the latest for coding. I have Claude Max, so I get a lot of usage out of it. If you're gonna do a lot of this, or if you're thinking about doing it to make money, programming, coding, whatever, like this AI thing is growing so fast. that people are making businesses that make them millions of dollars, and then the business is gone and not needed anymore within a couple months because AI is growing that fast. So, for instance, you could develop MCPs for people, which allow their AIs to connect it, and an MCP is a hammer. That's what an MCP is. Well, no, scratch that. A website provides hammers, all kinds of tools that something could use. And an MCP is the right or left hand of the AI. It's a way to give the AI the ability to pick up that hammer and use it. So that's what an MCP is, and that's where the real work that you can actually do with an AI comes in, and we'll set up MCPs and all that later. But now I've got Claude Code set up over here, and it's in a folder. So if I wanted to, I could just say worldswave.com. Oh, okay, I see. So you got a site that you're going to do that kind of stuff. I don't want to pin that, but I do like this. All right. So as an example of something we could do, right? If I didn't want it working directly in the folder, I could say, you know what? You don't even have to fix typos. That's the beauty of AI. Watch this. Create a folder for a new project. I love AI. Make directory, new project. You want to proceed? Yes. Great folder. I wonder if I can ls. Bash ls, app data, application data contacts, and a bunch more lines that... Okay, but because I'm not actually typing in the command prompt when I type ls, he's truncating it so he doesn't have to feed me all the info. Oh, nice. Nice. A social media platform. You know what? You and a couple buddies made it, so that's a fine little piece of software, and it's going there. I haven't looked at it yet, but we're gonna pin that so people can see it. I like interesting things that people develop. I like to develop things that make me have to work less. All right, we're gonna go to, so this is open here. All right, so just, oh yeah, so if you're inside the Claude Code command line interface, type slash, you can start to see there's some commands you can enter this way. And that, so when you put that slash, that's telling it that it'll be a command to follow. Palpipeppo dailies. Hi. Howdy, sir. Or ma'am. But I'm going to exit. Either way, that slash is so that you can, tell it it's a command and you're not just talking to Claude Code. One thing that you probably need is that compact and clear. Clear is good to free up, and if you want to work on something new, like I needed you to make this edit, and it makes that edit, then you can type clear and you can continue from the same chat, and it just forgets everything you just did. That way it's free and open, not using as many tokens. Have you ever studied too much and just your brain gets so full of garbage, and then you didn't go to sleep, and so you didn't store it, and then you forgot everything before the test? That's what happens to AI with its memory. So if your conversation gets too big, it starts to forget shit and you get really wonky answers. So you want to keep that small, and that's one of the compact command is really good for that. So what it'll do is you use tokens, so it's gonna use some of your money to go through and find all the important things that you've done in your conversation, and it's going to truncate and squash that down, compact it down to just the context it needs to keep moving. And so when you're coding a lot using this CLI tool and it's working directly for you, all the code's going to be spat out here while it edits the files, which is going to take a lot of tokens, which is why typically I just let it edit the files directly. Now I'm using MCPs in Claude Desktop, so I've completely switched from using the Claude Code CLI. I was doing this previously. Not anymore. So one thing we can do, though, is we're going to get set up in, I think, Visual. Yeah, let's try the Visual Studio setup. We're going to go here. Open this. So we're in Stuff and Things. That was that folder I made earlier. This will be our workspace for today. I'm going to go to Settings here. Chat Settings. There's a way to set this. You'll forgive me because, or you'll have to forgive me because I do. Oh, MCP servers directly? What? Create new custom chat models and such. Nope. Show config. Agent enabled, user backup and sync. Fast chat thinking. I don't want to use Cortana, right? Like, I want to use my guy. This one. Project predefined. Welcome to Copilot. Don't want Copilot. Hey, what about that? Boom. There we go. Let's just see if it's working. What's up, Claude? Hey, that was very easy. So I just, installed that and boom, Claude's connected. I'm sure there's a way to go into the settings and configure it to where it's got all my stuff. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to go back to our folder here. We've got a file called Stuff and Things. Let's see. What can we have it do? What do you guys suggest? What should I tell Claude to do right here? Should I make it, make some sort of HTML page? I don't know. Yeah. No. You know what? Here we go. Generate me an HTML page to use as a teleprompter when live streaming. It needs to use the browser's mic access to monitor what I'm saying and follow along. Graying out what I've already said. Let's see if it'll do that. Why not? I guess I gotta scroll down through the chat a little. There we go. And now we're vibe coding, I believe. I mean, I can't tell because it's, not really doing much over there on the side yet. I actually prefer to do this stuff through Claude Desktop, like I said. Yeah, because it's a lot faster to do that. I'm watching it go through VS Code here, and I'm not a fan. Typically I don't use the AI assistants inside of VS Code. Oh my gosh. It was doing stuff all along, and okay. All right. Inside of that folder is the Stuff and Things. It created teleprompter.html. All right, cool. Let's navigate and see what it's got. So that should be inside of ARIA, right? It was like C drive / users, ARIA. Then we did new project. Oh, that's interesting. Is it in rabbits and roses? Oh, it's not in. that new project folder was set up through the command line interface, not through this. So that's why there's nothing in this project, because VS Code is operating inside of my rabbits and roses folder. But let's just see what happens here. Open this up, Google Chrome. Oh, hey, look. Voice follow, start teleprompter. Welcome to the live stream. Okay, so I wonder if it can access my microphone. Welcome to my live stream. Today we're going to talk about some really exciting topics first. All right, yeah. So error, not allowed. Yeah, that is an error. All right, so here's where we get into the web development side of this. All right, so we're going to go to more tools, developer tools. We're going to go to the console, speech recognition error not allowed. Copy. Now we're going to go back into here. Now we're vibe coding. I'm getting an error. Paste said error. Whoa. I don't need 100,000 copies of that error. If you could hear the like the fan kick up when I pasted that. All right, so the reality, I need to go to, oh my gosh, okay. Control A, delete. Let's try that again. This time, we're just gonna not copy the whole console. We're gonna just copy that. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Look at how many errors are pushing. Stop that page. There we go. All right. There we go. Shimmying. So it's probably a permissions error to access the microphone, so it's going to figure out how to do that. The browser is blocking microphone access. You need to grant permission when prompted, but there are a few things to check. Use HTTP or localhost. Most browsers require secure access instead of file. Oh. Oh. Valid point. Lock info icon, grant permission, localhost. Oh, yeah. Use it. Yeah, because I would. All right, that's dumb. That is dumb. That is dumb. All right, so essentially I would have to create a web server with Python, create an environment and run it so that it's running on port 8000 so that I can access it and actually utilize the microphone. Let's not do that. Hey, what's up, bro? How is everyone out there in the ether? Yadav? Let's see. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're just not going to do that. Just understand that really quick, like it built my teleprompter app, right? I don't want to walk you guys through. This is just a start. I don't want to walk you through installing all that. One thing I will walk you through, if you didn't get it before, you're going to want Python. And you're going to want it in path, so we're going to install it natively to Windows. So we're just going to look for Python, get the latest version. I believe I already have it because it installed, but it didn't install to the normal directory. But yes, I have Python here. I'll install it anyway. Python 3.13. Mine installed because of that chocolatey thing. But Python, really nifty. It's going to let you run MCPs and such. I believe the entire MCP framework is done with Python, if I'm not mistaken. But it also allows you to run environments, so like essentially web servers that you can connect to. Screen is blur. Screen is blur. I don't know. Let me open my live stream over here and see what it looks like on my screen. Yeah, it's text issues. Here, you know what? I might be able to help with that if I did this. Can I scale? Custom scaling. 1 numlock. 120. That didn't work. What that? That help make the text a little bit bigger in places we can. That might help. No, let's see. What is the Metasploit tool? Let's Google that guy. Ugh, Copilot. Penetration testing. Pen testing and such. Yeah. Like, you know, like running Kali Linux. No, but so I don't know how to use that. But what I can tell you is that you can actually connect Claude directly through a Kali environment and have Claude run pen testing for you through Kali Linux. If you I'm assuming you know a good bit about PCs and all that such and Linux. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Okay, so if you're using Linux, one thing you can do is run Claude inside of Linux. Just install Claude directly into Linux or Claude Desktop. You can connect the MCPs to it, and you can allow Claude control of your Kali Linux install, which will then allow you to have an AI penetration testing assistant. If that makes sense. Because once you've given Claude access to your command line interface, it can run any command, right? And all of the Kali Linux penetration test commands are actually inside of the command line typically. And so being inside of terminal, giving Claude access to terminal, you can then just talk to your AI hacker bot essentially and have it do all of your ethical penetration testing. But that's one way I recommend using AI if you do a lot of security and pen testing and testing for exploits. It looks like Metasploit is for penetration testing and security. Let's see. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Linux is probably better than other well, no, Linux is the operating system, right? It's the operating system, because even if you get down to it, like, what is Mac using? It's using Unix as its base. What is Windows using? It's using some form of like a command line interface, Unix type interface at its base. And then what is Linux? It's just that on, well, dare I say, speed. Steroids. That's it. It's that on software growth hormone. But let's see. What are some cool things I can show you real quick? Because I mean, you're essentially set up. Once you've got Claude Desktop, if you followed along, you've got Node.js installed. Python is very nifty for the next little bit that I'll show you. Just kind of a intro tool. One thing we can do is we're going to go to settings over here. So you click your little name icon in the bottom left, and we're going to go to settings. Developer, this will be where you set up your MCP servers when you set up your own, but we're going to look for extensions, and we're going to browse some extensions. The first extension I want you to get, file system, install. This is going to give Claude access to your whole file system as long as you approve the directory, right? So here, again, don't do what I'm about to do. Pick a directory. Let me be anti-John Connor. You pick a directory you're safe with. I'll be the guy who's like, again, I'll make Skynet. I'll be the guy. So we've got that installed. We're going to enable it. Doesn't matter because we have to restart Claude anytime we do this. But this is what I was saying about the control Chrome. This is what I was saying about Apple having the advantage. Because if I'm not mistaken, yep, this uses Chrome's AppleScript API to control your browser programmatically. So not an option for Windows right now. I'm from America. We're going to put that there. Windows MCP. We're going to click that guy, and we're going to install the Windows MCP as well. That's going to give it access to all the fun Windows stuff. And, you know, you're going to get this. This is going to happen. Just know this is going to happen. And what I recommend doing is taking a screenshot of this error, which I can't take a screenshot. Spawn UV no int error. Yep. All right, so we're going to do that. So I've got those two installed. I have to restart Claude. And technically to do that, you have to go here and quit. You're going to have to actually close it out of the taskbar and reopen Claude. Probably going to get that UV no int error again. Yep. MCP Windows spawn UV no int. So I need an environment. Do chat. We're just going to, you know what, new chat. You know, the beauty of AI is I don't have to fix these spelling errors, but you know what? I installed, hey, Windows MCP. I am getting a spawn UV no int error. This is why I love AI. Yeah, the where in America, just America, Southeast America. I'm onto you. Well, I'm onto you with your whole I do security and all this such and such. I'm not giving you all that. You want my mother's maiden name too, bud? I know this social engineering. I took those classes. Check any required dependencies. Spawn UV error after installing typically Node.js application error that's being called. Could you provide a bit more context? How about you check yourself, Claude? Correct and accessible. Oh, you know what? Let's just make sure Node is in path because I remember earlier. You remember. But I will say that Yadav is correct there. Linux is the better operating system to do all this because you don't have to do all this BS that I'm doing right now. So we're going to do that. Go to path, edit path, not just close it. New path. My new path was, what was it, guys? You remember? C drive, program files, Node.js. Copy. Yeah, we're going to add that right there to path. Okay. We're going to close this, see if that helps. Yes. That did not help. Windows MCP error. Node, the system can't find the file or executable that's being called. Show the full error message. What exactly does the error say? It pops up when I start up Claude. You can just keep doing your thing over there. And we're going to go to the settings page, developer, this guy, failed UV. See, I think I need to install UV. I bet that's what it is. So let's go to command prompt. Pip install UV. If you installed Python before, you will now have pip. This should take care of this error. Because of Jesse Pinkman. Jesse Pinkman. Why does that sound familiar? I feel like that sounds familiar. All right, so I've installed UV. Let me close this. Let me close out Claude. See if that got rid of the error. But pip is how you install with Python, or into Python rather. So that MCP error should be fixed now, if I'm not mistaken. UV int no? Interesting. Do I have to restart the entire thing to get my bash to refresh? On UV MCP Windows MCP dash Windows dash MCP on UV ENOENT error on Claude startup. Again, I don't fix my mistypes and typos and such. Claude on Windows, let me search specifics. Claude UV init error. Init error means no such file directly. In the case UVX can't locate it. The problem, UV tool package not installed, or is not the path that Claude can access. But Windows can locate them. Recommend pip x install, alternately use. I would install it at the user level. Verify by running UV version. UV is not a recognized command. I'm willing to bet local bin UV or similar. Requirements are already satisfied. C drive user app data roaming Python site packages. That's the one. Hey. That's the one. Copy. These are those path errors that I was talking about earlier. Let's go to the environmental variables again. We're going to go here and we're going to paste that. All right, UV. That's not what I need. I need scripts. There it is. That's the folder. Copy. So it'll be in the Python scripts folder. And then you're going to go to path again, edit path, new path, because, Windows. We're going to go okay. We're going to close the command line. And then to test it, we're going to open the command line again, and we're going to go to uv -- version. Now it has UV. We're going to close Claude. Again, you have to close it out of the taskbar so that it gets a full reboot. And we're going to open it up over here. Now, I should have UV. No UV errors. All right. This is where it gets good. So this little tab here is your search and tools. You can search for things, or this is where you edit all your tools and add connectors and all that. And you approve the ability. When you are opening the manager, a photo of Mahatma Gandhi is appearing. The manager. Oh, yeah. Gandhi's birthday. So when you go here and you click this guy, search and tools, you're going to go down to your file system tools. Check these guys, make sure this is where you give it access to where it can use certain things. So if you wanted it to not make changes, you can check those, right? Now it can't actually edit those files. It can't move files. So it can't really do anything other than create directories and read the files. But again, I'm anti-John Connor. I got to come up with a supervillain name. And let's see, do this and this, and I prefer to work in 4.5. So now I've got access to my computer. That's essentially it. Just to give you guys a quick little, create a folder on my desktop for a new project called Rabbits and Roses. We'll be working from that directory. Not sure who Angela White is, but I'm not into personalities that much. I try to stay away from any of the Instagrams and things and social media for the most part, because it drives me nuts. Every time I look at something, I get angry. But I'm not going to Google that. I don't know who that is, and I'm not going to Google it. At least not on stream. Angela White. Angela Gabriella White. She is a adult movie actress from Australia. Oh, so she's not from America. She's from Australia. All right, so let's just check here. All right, we do have that folder that it made. There was the old folder with the teleprompter. Put that in there. We're going to delete this folder, get rid of that one because it doesn't need it. Action can't be completed. Interesting, because the folder's open in another program. Oh yeah, because I got you, babe. I got you, babe. All right. So, we did have it develop that teleprompter HTML page, right? So now we've set it, we're working in this directory, and one thing we could do is like tell it the error we were getting. So before I was, no. Explore the project folder and get a general idea of what we are trying to accomplish. And again, I don't care about the typos. All right, project overview, key features and such. Now let's vibe code it. Jazz it up a little. The UI is kind of lame. I guess I probably should have did before and after, right? But you guys saw the before. And you can dive deep into this too. So you can even go real deep, like, all right, we're going to use React for all of our styles and aesthetics. You could have it reach out and I believe you can have it connect things like Gimma, I think it's called Gimma, to make really cool layouts and pages and such. I'm gonna maximize so we can actually see it doing its thing here. Yep, but it is coding away directly on the computer to the file inside of here because we've given it access to the whole computer. Yeah, so yeah, that is funny. It's kind of vibe coding, but it's not. Like because the idea behind vibe coding is you just set it and forget it. You don't even look at it, right? You tell the code to make something, you never even look at it, and you're just like, oh, did my game work or not? I don't like to do that. I'm very hands-on with my project. I like to have the files structured a certain way. I like to have the code done a certain way, and I'll create prompts that, make it work within that. I'll have more videos later on, how to set up projects and things through Claude. I'll probably have to create a dummy account or rename my projects just for the sake of my ideas not getting taken. Gorgeous gradient background, purple to violet, smooth, UX enhancements, cool. Functionality is the same, which means it's not going to work locally as a, oh, wow, yeah, all right, yeah, look at that, sleek, a little bit better, bouncing little icon, all that good stuff. That's the easy stuff that I learned how to do when I was 9 in 1990 something. All right, so that worked. But if we recall, it didn't work before because I'm not actually running it as a web server, right? And the microphone's not accessible to local HTML files on a computer through Chrome or any of your browsers. We'll do port 8085. Because I don't think 8085 is being used for anything. Typically 80 is regular web, 8080. So we're going to go with 8085. Oh, look, it's setting up a local server on my computer for me. Well, it was a live stream to set up AI vibe coding. So that's kind of the whole gimmick there. So just to check and see, open your browser and head to this web server. Claude's still spitting such out. Yep, it's good. Okay. Now we're going to go to our web server and just see if it's running on the port. It is. All right. Live stream, blah, blah, blah. All right, so then the way that would work is we do this. Welcome to my live stream. Today we're going to talk about really exciting topics. Error not allowed. It never actually issued permissions. But then looking at this, it's not an HTTPS. Let's try the local address directly. .0.0.1. Nope. Okay. All right. It's probably all because I'm in a VM. Again, being inside of VMs is a little bit limiting, and I haven't set up my Windows hyperlink yet, or Hyper-V completely yet. But yeah, no, I mean, that was kind of it. That was the remedial beginners thing. Well, what do you want to see, Yadav? Let me ask you this. If you had an AI, what would you want to connect AI to? That's my question. I'm gonna leave that out there because I'm probably about to hop off the live stream since everybody should have an install. We've been going about an hour and 30 minutes now. Um, since you've got Claude installed and everything is up and ready to go for everyone, and you can vibe code now, the question is, what would you want to connect your AI to get it to do work for you, right? That's the goal of AI, to get it to do work for you. I mean, that's not hard, bro. Like, I could hack your computer as well if you type some things into your PowerShell for me. I mean, you'd actually have a really hard time hacking my computer in particular, any of my computers. Uh, I would have to grant you access to my home network. Uh, my whole shit's set up through TSL tunnels. What is it? TSS, TSL, TSL tunnels. Yeah. So all my shit's set up through TSL tunnels and all that, so I can access what I need from anywhere in the world with encrypted tokens, but no one else. But then, there are some ways, like I do